everyone, it's Nadia from YARNutopia. Today we're making this adorable little wreath ornament. This is super simple. It'll be a really quick tutorial. So what you'll need is Red Heart Super Saver yarns. Big thank you to them for providing the yarn for this cute little ornament. Also, you're going to need a crochet hook that's the size F, which is 3.75 millimeters, and this specific hook, I get questions all the time, where'd you get that hook? You can get it at the Etsy shop, Would Be Fancy. You can check out the link in the description of this video. It'll take you right to the shop where you can get your very own. It's a hand-carved, ergonomic, handled crochet hook. Also, you're going to need a scissors and a yarn needle along with a little bit of polyfill here because we are going to be stuffing this little thing. It kind of reminds me of a donut, but it is a wreath. It's for the holidays and for your Christmas tree or for the top of a gift that you're going to give someone this year. So let's just get right into it. I have to say one thing, check out those links obviously, but big thank you to Red Heart Yarns and big thank you to my dad for filming, editing, and taking the photos for this project. Okay, so let's just set this stuff aside and make this cute little wreath ornament. Alright, let's start out with green yarn. We'll make a slip knot, so put your short end over your long end, then fold this down, and then pull your long end through and pull tight. Okay, insert your hook, and we can begin. So to start off, we are going to chain 12. So yarn over and pull through 1, yarn over, pull through 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, halfway there, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, and 12. Once you have your 12 chains like this, we're going to, without twisting anything, we're going to have it out like this. We're going to flip this over back to our hook, okay, like that. And in this first chain right here, we are going to insert our hook. And what I'm going to do is actually insert it into that back ridge of that chain, right in here. Okay, just insert it into your very first chain. And then we're going to slip stitch. So yarn over, pull through that chain and through the loop on your hook. And that creates a ring. Fabulous. Now what we're going to do is we're going to work into each chain. We want to be able to see our chains, so we are going to work into the chains. And what we're going to do is chain up 1. And in the same chain that we just slip stitched into, we are going to single crochet. So go back into that same chain, yarn over, pull through, and then yarn over and pull through 2 loops. Okay, and now I'm going to work on these back ridges of each chain around. I don't know if you can see that, but we're going to work into each one of those. So go into this next chain right here, yarn over and pull through that, and then yarn over and pull through 2 loops. Okay, next chain, go in, yarn over, pull through, yarn over, pull through 2. And we're just going to put 1 single crochet into each chain around for a total of 12 single crochets. Now, I don't want you to work into the chain itself, or into the circle itself. We have to work into each chain, and I'll tell you why later. We're going to actually be sewing that. We're going to use those stitches to sew later, and I'll show you later, but we're just going to work into each chain, just single crochet in each chain, and I'll meet you up at the end of this round. This is what your work should look like now. If you need to, count back 12 and you would come to this very first stitch right here. So we are going to go into there, okay, not this chain up 1 right here. We're going to go into the single crochet stitch right here, yarn over and pull through, just like that. So we have this now. Going on to round 2, we're going to chain up 1. And then we're going to put 2 single crochets into each stitch around. So right in this first stitch that we just slip stitched into, we're going to go in, yarn over, pull through, and then yarn over and pull through 2 loops. And to go back into that same stitch for another single crochet. Now we're going to hop to the next stitch and put 2 single crochets in there and in each stitch around. So at the end of round 2, we'll have 24 single crochets. Pretty easy. So I'm going to meet you up and we'll go on to round 3 next. Alright, when you have your 24 single crochets around, find the very first stitch right here and slip stitch into there. So not this chain up 1 right here, but go into the single crochet stitch right here, yarn over, pull through, and pull through the loop on your hook. And now we can go on to round 3. Let's chain up 1. And in round 3, we're going to put 2 single crochets in this very first stitch right here. Okay, 1 and 2, and then 1 single crochet in the next stitch. So just put 1 in there. And then we're just going to repeat that sequence all the way around. So put 2 single crochets in the next stitch, 1 and 2, and then 1 single crochet in the next stitch, 1. Okay, then 2 in the next, and 1 in the next. And just repeat that all the way around. At the end of round 3, you will have 36 single crochets, and then I'll meet you up at that point at the end of this round, and we'll go on to the next step. Alright, when you finish round 3, we're going to slip stitch to the first single crochet right here. Like I said, you should have 36 stitches, so count back 36 and it should lead you to this stitch right here. Yarn over, pull through and through for a slip stitch, and now we can fasten this part off. So let's chain 1, and for one of these circles you're going to have to make 2 of these little donut hole looking things here. We are going to actually be fastening off with a long tail for one of them, but then the other one we just cut short. So I just cut my yarn long and pulled that through and pulled it tight. And now what you need to do is rewind this and make one exactly like this, except cut that strand short, because we're only going to use 1 for sewing. So you can save your yarn and only cut 1 long for sewing. Okay, so once you have 2 of these finished, we're going to add some color. So choose which side is your front and which side is your back. So it really doesn't matter, they're exactly the same. So I'm just going to grab this one here, and we're going to grab some color. Now this part is optional if you want flecks of color on your piece. I'm just going to grab some colored yarns. I have just scraps here of 3 different colors. You can choose as many colors as you want. We're going to add these little flecks of color on this little wreath, just like we have here. We're going to add those little tick mark things. So I'm going to yarn my needle with a colored yarn. And you can see here on this circle here, this is the front, okay? And if you flip this over, you can see that this is the back, okay? So the front side, you can see these stitches right about here. You can see these stitches that look like this, okay? But when you flip this exactly over, you don't see it on this side. So this is the back, and then this right here is the front. So we want the front side facing outward, okay? So we're going to start with going from the outside or inside here. So we're going to go from the inside out. And you really can just put this wherever. This is really creator's choice. You can just get creative with it and just go in and out, and there's 1 fleck, just like that. So I'm going to go way down here, okay, right about here, and make another fleck. Okay, and maybe, I don't know, over here, we'll make another fleck. You want to be able to keep it all consistently in between this green space here. Okay, and maybe one up here. Okay, then you want to end on the inside. So I have 3 of that color in there. Okay, so I'm going to tie these off. Let's cut the yarn shorter. Where are my scissors? Here they are. So we're going to cut this yarn shorter and tie these on the inside. Okay, and this will be stuffed and this will be all hidden. You just want to make sure all of these pieces are avoiding this circle right here. Okay, so this piece kind of can be pulled down like that. So I'm going to tie these in a knot. Just like that. Okay, so I'm going to do the same exact thing with these 2 other colors, and then once I have all my flecks, all my flecks of color attached and how I'm happy with how it looks, then I'll meet you up and we will be able to attach the 2 green pieces and make the next piece. Alright, so I just added a bunch of colorful flecks of yarn here, and in the back you do not have to worry about all these strands like your haters. You can just forget about them. So now we just want to go on to the next step of attaching these front and back pieces just like this. So we'll sandwich them together. So make sure, again, the inside, how I was showing you before, the inside is on the inside, and these are going to sandwich together like that. Okay, well, somewhat like that. So what we're going to do is grab our yarn needle and yarn our needle with the long strand of the piece that you cut with the long strand. Okay, either one, whichever one that was. And then, oopsie, we're going to line them up. Okay, and I like to line mine up where like I fastened off at. Both of them are fastened off at the same spot. So like that is fastened off there, and this one's fastened off here. And that's just how I like to attach my pieces. And this one, since this is a short strand, it is going to get shoved inside, so no big deal. But what we're going to do now is just go through the back loops. Okay, so you can see here, if we're looking at this, we go usually through both loops like this, but the back loop is this one right here. But then on the opposite side, the back loop is actually this one right here. Okay, so these are the back loops on this piece, and these are the back loops on this piece. So what we're going to do is we're going to do a mattress stitch. Okay, so we're going to go from the inside out on this piece, and then the inside out on this piece. And all the while we are sewing our pieces together, we are going to stuff this. So we are actually going to, or I guess we could stuff it from the center when we, because the center we still have to close too. So we'll do that later. How about that? You can stuff it as you go, totally up to you. So now we're going to just go from the inside out, and we're going to do this all the way around. Inside out. There, we have some stuffing attached here. There we go. Inside out, and the inside out. Just like that, all the way around, and when I get all the way around, I'll meet you up. We'll go on to the next step together. Alright, so I'm just coming up on closing this side now, all the way around. So when you're ready to fasten this part off, we're just going to go through underneath a few of the stitches, just like this, and then keep your finger in that loop there, okay? Then come back through that loop, just like that, and tie it off. And you can do it once or twice. I just like to do it twice. Just like that. And then what we're going to do, actually, I've decided, since this strand is quite long still on my piece, I'm going to come through to the center, okay, and we're going to use that for sewing the inside. Perfect. Alright, so in the center here, you can see all these strands on the inside here. We are going to start sewing these closed, but we also have to stuff this thing. So it can get a little challenging, so you will want to kind of stretch this out and be able to fit everything in there. And I know you won't be able to see through that hole, but we're just going to try to separate this stuffing around in the inside. Okay, and we're going to hide all of our ends on the inside so nobody's going to see that. So that'll be good. Okay, and then what we're going to do now, I only stuffed half of it. You can see this side, this half is not really stuffed, but this side is. So now I'm going to sew a few of the stitches, and it's going to be really hard for you guys to see, but you really have to just feel around for it. We're going to go from this stitch here, okay, through, actually I'm going to come out through it, that stitch right there. Okay, so now we're on the outside. And there we go. Okay, so I'm going to go through this stitch right here, through to the other side. I'm going to flip this over, and we're going to cinch and pull. Just like that. And then we go back through to the center of this hole here. Just like that. I know it's a lot of difficult to see a lot of this, but then we go to the next stitch, through both layers. I don't know if you can see that I'm going through both layers there. And you want to hide all the strands, hide all the things, and then I'm just going to come through the center of this hole. So we're always just going to, it's kind of like whip stitching where we're coming through the same side to both layers here. Okay. And you know, another easy way to do this is if you sewed the center closed first and then sewed the outside. That probably would have been a lot easier, but too late now. There's really no right or wrong way to do it, but just to make your life a little easier, you know, you can do it that way. But I'm just going to take my time, sew this closed. There we go. You can see it's starting to close on one half, which is really nice. See, there's a strand here I gotta hide. Okay. There we go, through here. And opposite side through here. Oops. And pull tight. Okay. If you want to, you can use your finger to kind of guide the stuffing through to the side that doesn't have it before you close it up completely. And just maneuver it however you need to, you know, get at it, whatever. We're so close to being done. And it's looking really good so far. Okay, so now we're going to go through the donut. I'm going to call it a donut wreath. There we go. Okay, and then come through this stitch here, next stitch on this side, and the next stitch on this side. And pull tight. Go through the hole. Come through the next stitch on this side. And the next stitch on this side. There. Once you get like halfway done, it's much easier to see everything. Okay, almost done. And then we just have to learn how to make the bow. I'm just going to go through this stitch here, this stitch here, pull tight, a couple more stitches, right here and here, and these last ones here. Fabulous. Okay, so that's what it should look like right now. If you have little pieces of polyfill, you can obviously just pull them and kind of brush this off. And then to fasten this off, we're going to go underneath a couple of the stitches here, just like that. Put your finger in the loop, come back through the loop, and pull. And then hide this on the inside of this wreath. Just like that. Cut the extra, stretch it out. Right now it looks like a donut, but we do have to add a bow for the top part here. Right here is where I want to put it. So let's set this aside, grab some red yarn, and make a bow. With your red yarn, let's make a slip knot. So put your short end over your long end, fold that down, pull that through, pull tight, insert your hook, and we are going to chain 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. And in the second chain from the hook, we are going to single crochet. So we're going to turn the chain toward us like that, single crochet into that second chain, yarn over, pull through, yarn over, pull through 2. And in each chain across here. So single crochet, go into the next, single crochet, into the next, single crochet, and into the last. You should have 5 single crochets at the end of row 1. Very simple. Going on to rows 2 through 3, so next 2 rows, we're going to chain up 1, turn our work around, and then single crochet in each stitch across. That's for rows 2 and 3. Almost finished with row 2, so we can just go on to row 3 here. Just put 1 single crochet in each stitch. Then last row here, chain up 1, turn your work, and single crochet across. And then at the end of row 3, we're going to fasten this piece off. I know it doesn't look like a bow yet, but it will in just a minute. We're going to chain 1, cut the yarn long for sewing and for creating the bow, pull that all the way through, and pull it tight. We're going to grab our yarn needle, yarn our needle with that. Well, first off, let's sew in this end here. So sew in your short end, the short strand there. Just yarn your needle and go underneath the base of these stitches and just pull and pull tight, stretch it out just like that, and cut the extra. Then take your yarn needle and yarn your needle with the long strand that we cut at the very end of this little piece that we made. And we're going to go halfway through. So we're going to go at the base of the stitches, right to the halfway mark right there, and pull. And stretch it out, just like that. Then we're just going to wrap around like this, and you can hold this piece like this, kind of make sure it is in the center completely, and then pull tight. And that makes a bow. And then you can wrap it a couple of times, 3-4 times. Or 5 or 6, or however many you want. Just make it look like a nice bow. Perfect. Then, on the back side, we're going to go through the wraps that we made. So, through these loops here, and just secure it so it is like a bow. Just like that. So there we have a nice bow. I guess we could do it this way. Kind of stretch it out, make it look nice. Awesome, cute! Now grab your wreath that you made and position it where you want it, right at the top here. And then we're just going to go around the stitches on the wreath and around the bow. Kind of just pin it on there. Tack it on. Oops, there we go. Position it, make sure it stays where it's supposed to. That looks good. And then you can just tie it off. So we're just going to go underneath a couple of these stitches back here. And then tie a knot. Sorry. Oops, slipped. Go through that loop and pull tight. And then you can just hide this in the inside here. And then cut any extra and stretch it out. Make sure it looks good. Pretty. Alright, now one last thing to make this an ornament. We're going to grab some yarn, green yarn, cut that green yarn, grab our crochet or our needle, yarn needle, and we got to turn this into an ornament. So we're going to go in through a couple of these stitches across the top. Okay. Put these up like this. See how tall or how long you want your strands. Wrap this around your finger and crisscross it, and then take those 2 short strands in the back and then up through that loop and push them through that loop. Okay, kind of like a slip knot, but you're actually going to pull all the way. And then just position the knot where you want it. About right there is good. And pull tight. Then cut the extra. Take your crochet hook and pull this to the inside. know I've shown you in the other videos, but I just like to hide this knot. You don't have to if you don't want to, but I like to just hide it if it fits through the stitches there. That could be kind of difficult. Oops. Pulled it all the way through. There we go. Lovely. And there's a cute little wreath ornament. Thank you so much for watching and learning how to make this festive ornament. If you like this video, make sure to thumbs up and subscribe to our channel here on YouTube so you can get the update on when we post our next video. It's so cute. Enjoy the holidays, everyone. Big thank you to Red Heart Yarns for this yarn, and big thank you to my dad for filming and editing this tutorial. I hope you enjoyed it. Happy hooking!